Well, thank you very much, team, for joining us this evening. Thank you very much to people in person, and thank you very much to those people who are at home on Zoom. We are here today to share a little bit about Enviroschools and about our Waitariki School journey. It has been a long time coming to get to this green gold part, so we're very excited to have Marie and Sue to take you guys at home through a bit of what we've been up to at school and how we can achieve the green gold. So I will pass over to Lorraine. Thank you very much, and to Sue. We look forward to our evening.
Cool. Well, kia ora koutou. Thank you for being here face to face. Not much of a nice evening, but the mara will be, I think. And yeah, for everyone who's joined us on Zoom, and for everyone who joins later, kia ora. So I'm Loree, I'm the Regional Coordinator for Taranaki Enviroschools, and I've been the facilitator for Waitariki for a little while now. Probably, yeah, since sort of Teresa's been around, so that's been really interesting. Kia ora. And just wanted to run through a little bit about what Enviroschools is, so what your kids are talking to you about at night time, and a little bit about what that green gold or silver or bronze or any of that stuff means, and just to try and get your input, because we really love to hear a little bit more from you guys. So to us that's really important. So I will change to the next slide. No, I won't. Here we go. So can you guys see the bit of a backstory? You will be able to, because it's right behind me. So just Enviroschools in general is a nationwide organisation based around environmental education for sustainability, or sustainability as a general. Started way back in the 90s in the Waikato, which is really cool. It's still there now, which is fabulous. And at the end of last year we were over 1,400 schools and early childhood centres, that's early childhood education, around Aotearoa. So we've been here in Taranaki since 2003, which means that next year will be our 20th anniversary, which is exciting. And this is a kaupapa that is free to schools. As long as we get funding, you guys get it for free as well. So the bits that you get for free are people like Sue and myself who come along and help you. We work alongside your teachers, come and do things like this. We also do a whole lot of activities with the students and with a lot of teacher training, and we help schools and early childhood centres tie it into their curriculum. So not everybody's an Enviroschool. People that are called Enviroschools or do call themselves Enviroschools actually go through an agreement. It's a little bit about like what we offer you, what you offer, what you need to engage with, and we sort of all promise that we're all going to work together and play nice families. So the Enviroschools is not a book of rules. It's a kaupapa. It's a design process that's really unique to how schools and kindergartens want to unpack it into their space. So it's unique in a way that, it's based around whether we're townies or rural or huge big schools or secondary or early childhood, like I was saying, or how many students we've got or haven't got, how much space we might have, do we have just a concrete jungle? So you can see where we'd have to customise it to suit. So what we do is work alongside the schools or early childhoods and figure out what you guys want to do, and then we help you achieve your goals based around that sustainability stuff. And it goes across the whole school. But we have these 5 guiding principles. So they're empowered students and if we're just reading through it. It's just about students participating in meaningful ways, meaningful for them. And we're wanting the students to really feel activated, like they can make positive change in the world. Learning for sustainability. So sustainability is a huge, big word, and we're even moving away from sustainable and we're moving towards regenerative now. So we really unpack what sustainability means to us. And we're not the sustainability police. We don't come in with a little checklist and tell you off if you're doing things less than perfect. That's not our thing. It's a journey. So we all have journeys at home, in our personal lives. We've just driven here in a custom combustion engine vehicle ×2. So we don't actually have anything perfect either. It's all unique. Unique to you guys, and you do it as you will. Based on Māori perspective, so we're really honouring the status of our tangata whenua who were here before us, and we're trying to honour our role as partners and empower our tamariki to honour this place and all the great things that Aotearoa has to offer. Respect for the diversity of people and cultures. That can be just really wide. So very multicultural in New Zealand. But it's not just about where we've come from or what colour our skin may be. It's how we feel and who we are, right down to, discussing, maybe even taking labels off things so that people feel an inclusive feel about stuff. It's really deep, but we also can introduce tamariki into that kind of conversation by celebrating like World Kai Day, World Food Day, or finding out where the eels come from and all that sort of stuff, so it's quite varied. And then sustainable communities. So it's not just about what happens in school or in the early childhood setting. It's really important about what happens at home with you guys and the wider community. So who's working with us as a school or an early childhood setting, and who we're working with as well. So it could be nature, it could be community groups, could be having volunteers come in and share their skills or their stories, anything like that. It's about how we develop those relationships. And it doesn't just happen in the classroom, or it doesn't just happen in the garden. A lot of understandings about what you think Enviroschools might be would be like rubbish and gardens. And that's cool, that stuff does happen, and that is a really great place to start. And that's some of the reason why we consider it a journey, because we might be racing out there and planting a garden and then we forget to water and it dies. But the learning around why did it die, do we need some systems in place, who's going to do that, and then maybe tamariki take charge of that. That's a little bit how the ball rolls. We see the Enviroschools kaupapa permeate into the 4 key areas of school life. So we can see it visually really often, especially at that early childhood setting. Beautiful sort of whole school and holistic environment from the get-go in that ECE space. So a lot of action happens outside or to our buildings, or we might see solar panels or tinting going on, or an outdoor classroom. So that's the sort of thing what I mean by a place. The practices, so for example, Waitariki do a karakia every day, kai karakia for, before they're eating. There's a whole lot of practices about, you see it when you're coming into the school, about how we are and who we are and what our pūrere values really are. So that really, ties into that. And we're sustaining that by practicing that stuff all the time. Our programs, so some of the stuff you won't see is some of the stuff that happens before school starts of the year. A lot of programming, a lot of after school stuff before school, on weekends. There's a whole lot of stuff that happens to make sure we've got like really great fun things that we can run with. and nothing happens without people. And it's about who's involved and who's doing this. So we see that going over to the 4 key areas of school life. Once we get our feet under the table, so to speak, we start delving into some really key theme areas. Me and my environment, and that's about students and teachers and schools. So, like, who am I and where do I fit in this place? You do a lot of looking at that within that Enviroschools space. We definitely look at that zero waste. So zero waste is a really idealistic concept, so don't beat yourself up about zero waste. What we talk about with waste is alternatives or strategies about replacement. One thing at a time, repeat the behaviour, go on and so on and so on, things like that. Living landscapes, that's where your gardens come into play at that point. Your native gardens, you'll be looking at your pests, go out and find some bugs and who lives here and all that sort of stuff. Maybe do some trapping so that you encourage the bugs or the birds or stuff that you do want. So that all falls under that living landscape space. Water of life is about all aspects of water. So rain, stream, ocean, ice caps, stuff that comes out of our taps, capturing it from our rooftops, all of that sort of stuff. And we look at, we do water testing and we check freshness and what can we do to improve this waterway, and then we might champion a waterway and plant some stuff around it, make it cooler and monitor some fish life in time to come. So that's the kind of stuff that we do in regards to that water of life space. Energy, we're the energy capital of Aotearoa. So what we do here is celebrate that we've got such amazing resources right here. Also look at alternatives. So what might be more sustainable than taking 12 cars? Maybe we could take 3 cars and carpool. We're encouraging biking, riding, carpooling to drop off kids and all that sort of stuff. Busing where appropriate and all that sort of thing. But energy can also be about the energy of the building. It could be draft stoppers, the efficiency of our wood burner, if we're running the heat pump, are the windows open, all that sort of stuff. And eco buildings or ecological buildings, that's anything from a bat house or a bird house all the way through to compost bins and actual full-on homes, and keeping your home warm in winter and doing an energy audit in your home, which ties in a couple of those, that sort of stuff. So we get into all of that sort of thing as well. And another really wordy slide for you. Sorry. If you're a wordy person, this will work for you. The guts of it is that there's a whole range of beneficial outcomes to be in an Enviroschools. And they're not just environmental. So we are definitely social. We definitely want to empower those tamariki, make sure they're inspired, connected to nature, feeling like they've got something to offer. It ties in with the curriculum, so it's not an extra, it's actually just how we are, and it becomes part of our day-to-day being. Hopefully we get better physical and mental health. So if we're feeling better, we're eating great food and we're drinking great healthy water, we've got strong bodies. The financial savings for schools, sometimes you have to unpack that a little bit more. So that might be us talking about, okay, we need new play equipment, what are we going to have? We could buy a whole lot of stuff, or we could ask around to our whānau and say, look, we need some cable rolls, more tyres, all of that sort of stuff. So we're saving our money, we're rediverting that money into other experiences or resources for your tamariki. Cultural, social, community. We hope that the school becomes that hub of this space. That schools are often the hubs, and Waitariki being so close to and tied into the hall so much, then we would expect we are one. Right, so localising it. This is this is where we've been. This is who we are. Waitariki have been in Enviroschools for 11 years, or a little bit more, I think. And initially started by Jane Bright, so props Jane. So Jane runs Seed Savers and lives just down the road. Is Jane still on your board?
She is still on the board,
awesome.
Yes.
Nice. And then, yeah, so when Teresa came on board, we really re-looked at that Enviroschools kaupapa and figured out, is this what we want to be doing? Is this who we are? We definitely decided yes, and it's been full steam ahead ever since. We reflected at Silver in September 2017, and that was really fun. So if ever you're coming back in school and you go down to the far classroom, the big puriri tree on the wall has the guiding principles on it, and we've utilised that tree to do our reflection, which we'll talk a little bit more about in a little minute. And we'll probably be looking at it again in green gold. And yeah, it's a real big goal for Waitariki to become a green gold Enviroschool. So green gold means it's like the top echelon, like you're good. Again, it's a little bit like that zero wasty thing. We don't want to put such a whole, all our green gold Enviroschools are amazing, but most of them are really amazing. But it's an ebbs and flows thing, and being green gold to us is going to look very different to how green gold looks to someone else. So what we want to look at is what green gold framework looks like in Enviroschools. So if you can sort of start having a bit of a think about the things that we've been doing, I've listed some of them here, and there's so many more. These are just some of the things that I'm aware of and fitted into that little, and you could see that was going to get really too wordy for you. So yeah, any questions, comments or abuse so far? We're all good? Cool. What about from on our awesome Zoom people at home?
No, I just give them a prompt.
Yep. Hopefully you're all still there and haven't gone to sleep yet. Cool. So let's move to what an green gold is. So it's not an award. We don't come along with a tick box situation and hand out a certificate and go, here, you've done it, great. You become a green gold Enviroschool. So it's like a status, a level, but it's way more than just a certificate on the wall and a sticker on your side, although that's you do get those too. So what we're talking about when we're at that green gold level is that sustainability is embedded. It's embedded into our school place, our programs that we run, the way we work with you guys, and just everything. So it's integrated into the curriculum, again, embedded and integrated, slightly different word. Sustained, so from our point of view, if a teacher leaves or you get a new teacher in, you're layering that level of understanding and you're training up the new people and you're bringing them with you. And every year and sometimes every term we have new tamariki, new whānau come. So we share that information in the parent packs, although they're usually quite full when there's a lot of stuff. But over time you'll get to understand a little bit more about what Enviroschools is, and hopefully, this evening or this Zoom session is a little bit more of that for you, just to layer that level of understanding. It's instinctive, so we instinctively question whether this is sustainable. And we really want to see that in the tamariki. Are they going, oh, well, I'm just going to break this because it's, da-da-da. We want them to go, actually, no, we're going to look after our possessions because, it costs a lot of money or resources or whatever, and we're going to hopefully take care of them. So it's effective, it's empowered, it's deep. Courageous and visionary is one of those things, two of those things that I really like out of this particular lot of key words. I really like to see schools that are just thinking outside the box and going that next level, impress me, show me something that I haven't seen before, or that is maybe a challenge to do. Get outside your comfort zone. That's the kind of stuff that we want to see at that green gold level. So when we go through our holistic reflection process, tongue-tied, twister, this is the paragraph or a set of sentences that we reflect against. We're asking ourselves, do we have a living, evolving school vision and progress that's celebrated with new ideas added to it all the time? Can we see this? Can we feel this? Is it online? Can you show it to us? Or is it, up on a board or something like that? Those 5 guiding principles, the empowered students, Māori perspectives, respect for diversity and culture, learning for sustainability and sustainable communities, are they woven into all aspects of our school life? Is sustainability part of all of our decisions and everything we do? So these kind of comments, these kind of sentences are different to that silver thing and that bronze space. So bronze is like, we're just getting going, some people are involved, we've taken some actions. Silver is like, we can really see progress, it's looking really great, we've got some great momentum, we've got way more people involved. Green gold, it's just who we are. Everybody knows it. It's how we are every day, so that's how green gold feels. So students at our school have a strong sense of connection to tile or to the environment, and we know that we can affect change for a sustainable world. That's a really big one that we get the tamariki to really unpack with us, like ask them how they're feeling, what they want to do and what their actions and projects are all about. It's mainly led by students with strong adult support from adults, strong adult support. So you can't just go, here you go kids, go for gold, green gold. You can sort of put a framework to them and say, this is what we're going to do today. You get to develop it, and then adults can give them all the framework that they need. So they need some resources, here's the resources, all that sort of stuff. But primarily, projects and actions are driven by children, by the students. We've been able to measure a whole lot of changes, so you'll know from when we became bronze through to becoming a green gold Enviro school, and we do things differently. And we really can identify some key things, probably not 1,000 things, but we might have gone really deep with some key aspects. And the environment, our environment, inside and outside area, is more vibrant and healthy, and it feels like a living ecosystem that can support our community. You can see it's going on and on. We really want to see that Māori perspectives are enriching our journey as well, and everyone's been respected along the way. So now, if you were all here, I'd get you all doing the same activity, but we're going to do a different activity with the people on Zoom. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to that green gold paragraph set of sentences, and I want the people on Zoom to start populating the chat, and the people in the room to start making some notes. It's a brain dump. It's not a competition. It's not a... nobody gets a chocolate fish because there's no food at this time. But I want you to put in the chat, and if you want to put your name on either your notes or the chat comments, what ideas you think that we've done here in Waitariki so far that sort of reflect that green gold space, and also what you think that we can do. Because what we do through that process, through this process, we are doing this process, we go, this is where we've been, this is where we are, yay, and this is where we want to go. So we don't just stay still. That's not sustainable, that's not how life goes. We continue the momentum. And man, we love to make mistakes. Mistakes or doing things wrong are just prime learning opportunities for us. So there's nothing wrong in that, there's nothing bad in that, and nobody needs to be beaten up about any of that stuff. But yeah, okay, so in the chat, if you want to put your name on it, that'd be appreciated. If not, just type it in there. What have we done according to that? Could be anything you like. And what sort of visionary and courageous and exciting things that you think we should do. Right, I'll go back. Cool. And time.
Up here.
To your right.
Just do. Right. Well, we've got about probably 5 minutes of that, and 5 minutes will take a long time. Have we stopped recording just in case? Or do you still want to? Excellent. Well, we can even start calling them out as we go if they're coming through on Zoom.
They're very quiet on Zoom.
Okay, they must be typing. Right, so get out of the way of the read. That was probably really helpful, standing in front of it. Guiding principles are woven in. So, empowered students. What sort of projects have your kids been doing? Are they excited about them? What else would they like to do? Have you seen anything at any other schools or online that you'd really love for Waitariki to look at?
So Lorraine, like the empowered students, for example, I know that there are some children who see, who see a fallen tree or something or other, and they then take the initiative to remove it or cut it up for firewood and things like that. So those are the kind of stories that you might be hearing. Or my friend had broke their bike, and so I used my initiative and I went and sorted it out with a hammer and a screwdriver and got that sorted for them. Or the kids that saw a whole heap of agapanthus and spent years digging out the agapanthus so that there was space for native trees to grow. So those are the kinds of stories that you might have heard at home. It might be I gave Fire Deb last year a recipe for small stream cuisine, or one of our 2050 projects was about food, and one of the children, was about 2050, and one of the children focused on food and actually took out sugar and preservatives. So they then gave that recipe to Fire Deb. So some of those stories that you might have heard, or some of the Ajuka stories you might have heard. Excellent. Thanks, Joe. So those sorts of things, they can be inside, outside, after school, homework, random. Could be things that you do outside the classroom with other schools. Not really doing that much at the moment, but you would have done it since 2017. So what we're doing is we're evaluating how we've been since we became a Silver Enviroschools. So since we became Silver in 2017, we've probably gone really deep with some things. Some of the things that I think are that small stream cuisine stuff. That's green gold right there. You know, a lot of schools don't do that. It encompasses a whole lot of those guiding principles that we see before. The students are doing the washing up, the students are doing the cooking, the students are saying the karakia and they're setting the table. You're using crockery and cutlery that gets washed and reused, tablecloths washed and, all of that sort of stuff. Placemats. The food is coming from the garden and it's local, and we're learning. The kids don't sometimes realise when they're cooking they're actually learning. They're actually learning doing that, their maths while they're cooking and all that sort of stuff. It's, all that underlying really, that's good stuff. What else? Big key projects sometimes. And sometimes it's little things and sometimes, it's big things. Every year, Waitariki around Everett Park planting. Hey, you guys are amazing. You're growing those plants as well as planting other people's plants. Yeah, so that's really sustainable community stuff. Looking after tile. So what we're doing at the moment, we're really needing you to help us with this and get your fingers doing the walking, because it becomes part of what we call evidence.
So we can't become a Green Gold Enviroschools school if we can't prove that this is us and this feels like us and we feel like we're a close and comfortable fit in here with room to grow. So we need you to help us out. Things might come to you in a little while, like after we've had this Zoom, or people that watch the Zoom later. Really, really encourage you to flick through your messaging to Therese or Joe so that they can capture those little key snippets that you have acknowledged. Could be anything.
So we've got some coming in.
Excellent.
There's work at school.
Yeah.
One, it's just disappeared because there's another one coming. Work at school, cutting the trees and digging stuff up, like Joe was saying, and the plastic bottle bricks.
Yeah.
Has been spoken about at home.
Nice.
There's another one who loves learning about predators and how to protect the environment from them, which was a big last year, wasn't it? With all the predator work. So that's really cool. Riparian planting up at the Fords Farm, which you were talking about. And moving that forward, we're looking at something in our forest school space for riparian planting, like.
Nice.
Or in some way enhancing the environment on that farm as well.
Brilliant.
So,
what about from here locally? We've got some writing you can share. We love it.
No, most of it was from Joe anyway. I don't know, a propagation like unit. I know that's
that's a really great idea. And if you ask nicely, we might be able to help you financially. That would be cool. So at the moment, you've got the miniature sort of systems happening. And it's a really great thing to learn about and then to upscale it. So over the years we've done a whole lot of seed propagating inside, and then out there in the bottle house, and then growing them on. Propagation unit. Anything else? Yep, all good. Cool. Alrighty. So, if that's enough to have people thinking,
this go.
Yep.
This child has been talking a lot about what he's learning with bees and pollination and how honey's made. Could look at increasing the bee population in beehives to make our own honey, which is awesome because we are on that journey. We are getting closer to that happening.
Yeah. Hey, that is really a beautiful thing. That is a really beautiful thing. And what we could do is hook you up with another school that's actually gone through that process as well. So that way the kids are learning from the kids and the teachers are learning from the teachers. So there's a number of schools, enviro schools in Taranaki that have got bees on site. And there's a whole lot of like health and safety stuff that you want to go through as well. So we need to know all about that stuff before we're actually bringing bees on site. Mm-hmm. And we need to make sure that we've got a safe environment for all of our children.
I believe we're working with the same beekeeper as some of the other schools.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Yep.
There's another one here about learning about the weeds in the garden and what to do with them. Separating into compost or into the barrels of water to decompose.
Nice.
Yeah.
And sometimes that interesting thing, like sometimes at a bronze level we might be addressing spraying all the weeds and stuff like that, and maybe that's our focus at bronze. And we're trialling different ways like hot water or vinegar and all that sort of stuff. And some things work and some things don't. But then at that silver level we might be looking at making weed soup and converting that into a fertiliser and all of that sort of stuff, and looking at how we compost that down. And maybe even at that green gold level we're going that next step and either creating our own pest management or plant pest management system, or even turning it totally over and going, well, what are these weeds here for? And finding some beneficial weeds and learning about that. There's a lot of that sort of stuff. A lot of stuff that we can deal with in regards to our natural space that is about natural healing. A lot of weeds are used for natural healing processes. Looking into like what is a weed anyway. You never know, your kids might be coming home telling you to eat some dandelion salad and stuff.
Oh,
Cool.
dandelion jelly is delicious.
There you go. Hey, cool.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. I encourage you to keep bringing those conversations in. It really helps Waitariki. We're probably doing it for the next couple of months. So as your thoughts and ideas about what has happened and what ideas, courageous and visionary ideas that you think should happen or could happen or that you'd like to see your kids go through or experience, send them in, and then we'll be able to collate all of those, and you never know, something fun might come out of it. So, yeah. All right. Thank you for having me. That's us. Ka kite anō. Cool.
Cool. Thank you, Lorraine.
Awesome.
It was really informative. Do I have to come? I don't just want to stand up there, right? They can see me online here.
Turn around.
So,
Teresa.
no, we really appreciate you taking your time out to come and join us. It is lovely to see you again. We haven't seen you for a wee while. And actually to give that information so eloquently to our community so that they know and understand better the journey that their kids are on as we move forward towards our green gold. Yeah, and beyond, of course.
Yes.
There's a lot more to come. So thank you, Lorraine.
Very cool. And thank you to everyone at home. Thank you for you guys for coming again. And thank you to everyone who watches afterwards. You're a legend. Right. Eat dinner, sorry. Eat dinner. Feed your kids.
And thank you, lovely people who have joined from home. Have a wonderful afternoon or evening.
Ka kite.